in tears testifying.
None of these are.
Oh,
Here we go. Here's the cavity thing.
Go to
18 minutes.
Hicksville. Let's tell the jury about Hicksville, May 2013. Can you tell the jury what transpired at Hicksville?
It's a fancy trailer park, like a little hotel in the middle of nowhere, set up with these little trailers, and we had made a plan to go there with friends, and we were going to do, like laffy, as we said, laffy drugs, like mushrooms, eat mushrooms, sit by a campfire.
For a second. Drink.
There's really not a whole lot else to do out there. It's like a getaway. We had made this plan.
Some Funko.
And it was going fine. It was like a, kind of like a party out in the desert.
So like Burning Man?
A few friends and campfire and music. And I don't know somebody brought MDMA. It was being passed around, and somebody who took it kind of was starting to feel the effects of it, I guess is the best way to describe. She kind of reacted in this way where when the MDMA hit her, she kind of...
I don't even know how to do that, trigmatic.
We were sitting around a campfire, all of us, and she kind of just leaned into me and put her, head on my shoulder and kind of grabbed my arm. I took it, to be the effects of the drug.
What drug did they actually end up taking?
MDMA, I think.
I think I had eaten a mushroom cap, but was not feeling anything at the time. I don't remember feeling anything because the night just kind of changed pretty dramatically before I really felt anything of the effects of that. But that was the environment we were in, and as soon as she kind of did this thing where she leaned into me,
You're cute.
Johny gets really
You get to get your cleaning.
activated. He gets really upset, and he starts. Well, at first she thought he was kidding too. She thought he was kind of making a joke. I think we all did. Everyone kind of responded at first, that it, like it was a joke. But
I'm super
was
lost
like,
on this
hey man, what are you
situation
doing?
here.
Yeah.
What do you
I don't
what do you
understand.
think you're doing? And she kind of giggled and kind of leaned into me more, and I knew in my body just instantly that it wasn't a joke. But she didn't, so she's kind of still attached
You see
to
the
my
NFT
arm.
market
when he
crashed
says it again to
92%.
her louder. He says, "Hey man,
that's
you
good,
think
at
you're
least.
touching my fucking girl? You think you're touching my fucking girl? That's my fucking girl." And he gets louder and louder, and she kind of did this thing half.
I just can't see anyone in the
understanding what
world
was going
saying shit
on.
like
I think
that.
she kind of started to cry.
Not even at the
this point,
raunchiest biker
but
bar.
She kind of threw up her hands, and Johny grabbed her wrist and kind of
I'm gonna have
twisted
this
it
girl come and testify.
and pulled her into him and said, "Do you know how many pounds of pressure it takes to break a human wrist?"
There's no way. This isn't
And he
anime.
kind of held her, and she just looked.
Also, I guess nothing against Johny Depp, but he is not the kind of guy that would know how many pounds of pressure it would take to break a human wrist. I feel like he would struggle to count to 50 under ideal circumstances, let alone start tossing out some kind of weird one-liners like that. No fucking shot. What? What kind of outrageous fanfic story is this?
I don't know.
And then everyone clapped. This is like actual awful creative writing. Thanks to the bits again, Shrigmatic and the resub.
Well, I'd
Nacho
wonder,
and
like, if
Ultrist.
they got other people who, like, they claim were involved in this up here. Like...
Well, it's not, I don't think that's time yet. I think that's later. So maybe they really do have that lady. Who knows?
I kind of hope, because, I mean...
Thanks to resub, Shawarma.
Frozen. And
I guess Wills.
she's crying, and was just denying understanding what was going on. I stepped in. I kind of take Johnny's arm around, kind of take Johnny's hand and kind of, we start communicating. I don't remember if he immediately was accusing me or if it was sometime after. I wish I remembered, but we agreed that we'd go and talk about it in
Either this
the
girl
trailer.
mentioned or the flight attendant.
So
are
we
almost
walked to the
testify.
trailer.
They also never sued
And
Johnny
when
Depp
we're
for this.
in the
because
trailer,
said-
Johnny, by the time we get into the trailer, Johnny tells me that
Here's a tier 1 goose.
I
He doesn't have
had
an official
been
name.
instigating the, and asking for this, and that I had invited it, and that I hadn't been honest with him about my relationship with this woman. And I didn't really know her that well. I mean, I actually don't know her at all, but I had met her. And I remember in the trailer, he's accusing me of lying about it, and that I had something with her. I'm trying to diffuse that. I'm trying to calm him down. And he just turned all that, it seemed like he turned all that rage onto the trailer itself. And he just started
What?
smashing things. He picked up something on the table and threw it right into the glass
The
cabinet.
place that they're at is like a trailer park.
He hit
yeah, but
with
this
his
just doesn't make any
hand,
sense.
a wall sconce. He cleared the tabletop on the little fold down, like kitchen dining room area in this trailer. I mean, it's a trailer, so there's only so much you can do. And he's screaming at me, just screaming at me.
What?
And I
a good
eventually go back
goose.
into the bedroom area. He comes into the
There's
bedroom
some
area.
recent lore.
We had
The bits
what I can only
dramatic.
describe as it sounded like nonsense from him. It wasn't making sense. And I realized that he's just probably really high. Because it wasn't making sense anymore. It wasn't like a direct
She's not
accusation.
making sense either,
He wasn't
so-
hearing me when I was saying
That's true.
I wasn't involved, wasn't cheating on him. I wasn't secretly trying to engage this woman in some sort of sexual affair. And then it became clear to me he was like looking for something. He cleared things off the bed. I went into the bathroom, and as I come out, he asked me where it is and how long I've been hiding it.
What the fuck is that? Is this
I was
like
what are you
a
talking
scene out of
about?
Uncharted?
And he says, you know what I'm fucking talking about. You know what I'm fucking
map
talking
to the One
about.
Piece
Be
treasure?
honest with me. Where
There's
are you
no map.
hiding it? And he kind of like makes to look into the bathroom. And I gestured to the bathroom, which was to my right. I kind of like gestured to him, and I said, like, what am I hiding and where am I gonna hide it? And we're standing in this little hallway area outside of the bathroom, and he starts, what feels like patting me down or saying he's patting me down. I can't recall, but he ripped my dress.
Saying he's patting me down.
Strap,
What is that?
top part of my dress.
I'm patting you
I
down
had just
now.
dyed this thing myself pink, and it's just one of those things. I was like, that's I just finished that dress, and he's like grabbing my breasts. He's touching my thighs. He rips my underwear off.
He looks surprised by that.
I mean, man's just enjoying the fanfic, I guess. This makes no sense.
I can't
proceeds to
follow
do
any of this
cavity
anymore.
search.
So I think this is her first fake cry with no tears.
He said he was looking for his drugs, his cocaine, his coke. I was wondering how somebody who didn't do cocaine and was against it, that was in and of itself causing problems in our relationship. How could I hide? Why would I hide his drugs from, like he was insinuating that I was doing it or something? It made no sense. And he was telling me we're gonna conduct a cavity search, shall we?
And while
Like,
I feel
just
like there
shoves
was
his
probably some
fingers
abuse
inside me.
from his side as well. I mean, like, there couldn't have been absolutely nothing with all the stuff that's happened, and some people have backed her up on some.
Did they? I haven't seen anyone back up any of her claims.
I'm pretty sure, I thought they did back at her first testimony.
I haven't seen and I could be wrong, but I haven't seen a single person back up anything she said. Does anyone have any, like, evidence of that? Because as far as I know, there was never any abuse. The closest thing Johny did to, like, questionable shit is he sent a weird text to one of his friends, which was, I think, a reference to Monty Python, where he said, "We'll burn her and drown her and then fuck her corpse," which is super weird and edgy, but that's as far as anything awful he did went, as far as I know. Aquaman Twitter? What is Aquaman Twitter breaking the news? Was there any evidence that Johny Depp did actually do some things to her? Because if there is, I never saw it.
I thought I did, but I mean, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Oh, here, this is what this about.
Did Jason Momoa pick... You're looking at a tabloid.
They were saying Aquaman Twitter.
Oh.
And then I saw this when I threw on my search.
Oh. Well, they were just making a joke because Aquaman tweeted out, "Happy birthday, Amber." Thanks to resub Mimatode and Yomata and Kevio. And the resub Golden. There's evidence of him kicking her on a plane once. Is that going to be in the trial? Because I never saw that.
They said that the flight attendant's not set to appear.
The flight attendant's not set to appear?
To speak.
Oh, like the flight attendant to testify on that if
Yeah.
it was real. It's the resub Snot in the Prime Trash. It was in the UK trial. Hey, Forky.
Apparently people are now saying boycott Aquaman 2.
Well, yeah, they cut her screen time down to 10 minutes. But that's still not enough. All right, let me see. I'll look it up.
He said justice for Johnny Depp.
Jason Momoa did?
Hold on. I'm just trying to scroll through.
These are just random Twitter accounts.
Yeah. He just started following him today, or that day.
Okay, let's see. Amber Heard and Johnny Depp do MDMA with flight attendant. Johnny Depp allegedly assaulted flight attendant while on MDMA. Is this it? Oh, here. This must be from the UK trial.
Heard testified that they took drugs with the flight attendant, and then Depp threatened the flight attendant. Oh, apparently text messages between Jason Momoa and Amber Heard will be used as evidence at some point during the trial.
Really? Well, that's kind of wild. So this must be from the last... So there's no evidence of it, as in like a video or a statement from anyone besides Heard? Because right now Depp has poopy pics from Amber Heard's log, the medical reports from when she severed his finger by throwing the vodka bottle or whatever the bottle was, and her on tape admitting to openly hitting him and calling him a pussy for it.
And telling him to see what happens if he tried to come out about his abuse.
I don't remember that one, but those are the three that I remember off the top of my head.
Did you hear the phone conversation recordings?
Well, that's the one where isn't that the one where she was like, "I didn't punch you, I hit you"? Isn't that one?
Yeah, but she also, is not even just physically abusive on the recordings, but emotionally, and, she basically throws everything onto him, saying that she's the victims. It's very manipulative.
Other than the kicking and the plane thing, all evidence supports JD. Well, yeah, but what I was asking, is there evidence of the plane thing, or is that still just the Amber Heard word? There's resub Spartan and the Prime Bob Joss, and the resub Ryan and the Prime Destroyer and Yippee.
Apparently there's a rumor that a bunch of her scenes in Aquaman 2 are getting cut.
Yeah, that's what I read too, that she got her shit cut down to 10 minutes. It's still just the word of the herd. Okay. And they don't have the flight attendant here? The kicking one does have evidence there was... Jesus, that went by quick.
Sorry.
There was text messages after the event where even Johnny Depp apologizes. Okay. So it's Johnny Depp apologizing for kicking her on a plane? No, he doesn't apologize for anything specific. So it could have been an apology for anything like raising his voice or something, I guess. I don't know. I'll have to wait to see that. I'm sure that'll get brought up here. If that happened, I'm sure Turret will bring it up. And then I guess we'll be able to see whatever evidence there is.
Hi, Meadow.
Just stood there staring at the stupid light.
As you sub Saturn, Error, and Kitty.
I didn't know I didn't know what to do. I just stood there. While he did that, he twisted his fingers around. I didn't say, like, stop or anything. I just...
So the next morning, what transpired?
Here's your Prime Walk.
I remember thinking that Johnny would change his mind. And it would be...
That's how I act when I'm pretending to be sick to get out of work.
Yeah, I thought it would end differently.
I guess.
I kind of froze. I don't know how we went to bed that night. I don't know how I went to bed. I don't know how I slept. I don't know how we woke up. I don't remember having a conversation with him the next day. I don't remember
There's your resub Vaughn.
talking to him about it or confronting him about it. I remember wanting it to be okay. I remember just wanting whatever fucking weird trip, whatever trip that was to end, just to be over and for it to just go back to normal. And I remember my friends were out by the pool. Like there was a pool in the center of the trailer park, and I remember putting on my, just putting on my face and going back into this like crowd, and I remember seeing my friends by the pool thinking they were just having a great time, and no one knew what was, I felt so lonely, like no one
Here's the
knows
Prime
what's,
Pine.
everyone was just having a good time, like normal stuff. So I just smiled and made a joke about how trashed the trailer got, and we had to get the manager, who started off furious that Johnny had wrecked the thing, and then he had this like black mesh.
I mean, like,
tank top,
where's
not tank
this
top, it was like a
lawsuit or, like,
meshy
the
kind of
proof of
shirt
him
on, and
destroying the
I remember
trailer?
he came into the trailer and looked around and was like, "Whoa, what happened here? Whoa!" And Johnny,
Like, they obviously had to pay for
an
it.
exchange with him. And I remember watching this man be
That's
so
a good
shocked.
point. They would have had to pay for the damage, I would think.
It was just a kind of a surreal
Should be an easy thing to
experience,
pull.
and, it just went away. That just got fixed. We walked out of the trailer at some point. My dog stepped on a bee. We went to the vet and went on with our, vacation. We actually went to another location after that, and then eventually went home.
Even the lawyer.
Like,
It's such a weird detail. All of these things I feel like would be really strong if she would just provide some like actual receipts. My dog stepped on a bee, right?
Oh, okay, but that has nothing to do with him.
I know, but
It's
like
just
she could provide like a vet receipt, assuming they take it to the vet, right?
Well, she said they went to the vet. But
Yeah.
What does she need to prove?
But
for
just be
that?
like these things, at least some of this happened, right? And here's other things that happened, and
but
it just makes it
going to
more
the vet
believable.
Could have happened regardless of.
Yeah, I know.
That
I'm just
all
saying, like,
transpiring or not.
I'm just saying, if I was Amber Turd's defense attorney, I'd be like, give me a receipt for fucking everything. I need your SAT scores as well. We're getting everything. But all it is just the turd word. Like, I don't understand why it's all just, like, nothing substantiating it at all.
I'm going to ask you to take a look. Michelle, can you bring up Defendant's Exhibit 176?
Okay, maybe these are photos. What did they just whisper?
I don't know, I didn't hear it.
Sounded like that's not gonna help.
I have no idea. I couldn't catch it. Thanks, Resub, Geo, Sideli, Ness, and the Bitstream-matic and a Bungie.
2013. Did there come a time that you wrote an email?
Objection, leading, and hearsay, Your Honor. May we approach?
All right.
They muted it all.
Yeah, I think this is like a strategy thing. I don't know. I've watched Better Call Saul, but even this eludes my expert opinion here. I don't really know what's going on.
Oh, I just want to know what they were gonna ask about that email.
Thanks, Resub Forest. Well, I'm sure we'll get to that. The judge always mutes on approach. Ah. Not really, I don't think so, Shrigmatic. XQC documented it and she cried 29 times without a single tear. I saw him put that on screen, but I didn't see the final tally. That's not bad.
In June 2013, how were you feeling about your relationship with Mr. Depp?
There's your sub-cherry.
May we have the exhibit taken away from...
sure.
Thank you.
Wait, so just like that, you get an exhibit taken out?
By June,
Well, fuck, I want
I
to...
was
I guess.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's the
torn.
same.
I was so in love with this person. Because when it was good, it was so good. You've never felt love like that. At least that's how it felt. So much. I felt like he recognized me and I recognized him, and there was just something there that is the love of my life.
Really unlucky that our tear ducts weren't cooperating today.
And he
Maybe
was.
she got them sealed.
Might be like a
He
Botox
was.
thing, I
Yeah,
guess?
yeah,
Also
yeah.
this
That
other
actually does
thing.
happen.
He was also this other thing. And that other thing was awful. Awful thing that would come out and take over, and it was
Thanks for some
you couldn't
Gradster
see
and
the
Mercy.
Johnny I loved underneath it. It was this other thing. And no one told him. No one was honest with him. No one, he'd pass out in his own vomit. He'd lose control of his body, he'd lose control, and everyone would clean up after him. I cleaned up after him. I mean, this man lost control of his bowels, and I cleaned up after him. His security cleaned up after him, changed his pants in front of me. He would pass out in his own sick.
I actually do believe that. I'm not gonna lie, I do believe
Walk
that.
around
That's
saying,
I believe
He didn't
that.
have a problem.
That's probably true.
Until he did. Until he couldn't support it anymore, and he'd get clean and he'd get sober, and then he was this thing again. This thing that made me feel so loved, that made me feel like my soulmate. As cheesy as that sounds, I just felt like he knew me. And I recognized something in him, either some part of my makeup and my background or something that I
Makes you
just
so
got
unlimited.
it. And I loved him and understood him. It just got so scary, the other part of him. And in June,
I think one thing that Amber probably learned after today is the real world's not like movies and anime. No one really talks like this. Like, she's accused of being a bad actress now and a liar. just like this is like an actual monologue for a thespian troupe. No one talks like this.
He's dreaming. Kicking his
Is he?
foot. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
Look at my fingers.
Thanks, Resub Prey. Yeah, I think it's just a lot of delusion.
Looks like a little bunny, like twitching all.
That's adorable.
I wanted to leave him. I didn't want to leave him.
What am I holding?
wanted to want to leave him. I wanted him to get better. And he expressed to me so many times when he was in that period of getting clean and sober, he would tell me, "You saved my life. Baby girl, you saved my life." Everyone else was saying that to me, and I believed it. You know, if everyone else was saying it, he was saying it, I thought. Just like his other friends who had gotten clean and sober and stayed that way, his older friends, these rock stars that he hung out with that had like gotten clean and sober and they had 20, 30 years, something, you know, I thought, and Johnny told me he would be that person, that he was going to be that person, and I believed it. I had so much, I looked at that man twice my age, you know, I was 25, looking at this man twice my age, and I saw
looked at this
hope
fucking grandpa.
and like promise. I had so much hope. You know, the whole thing. Kids and growing old together, sort of hope. If it was just for this one thing that he could do, which would save his life, which would be to get clean and sober. And I believed it. And I wrote this letter to myself, among many letters to myself.
Objection,
because I
hearsay.
thought,
All she did was refer to that she wrote it. She isn't saying what she said.
I'll rule for that.
Thank
point,
you.
Okay. I wrote that letter because I thought it would be read to him.
He's a prime
I could
Bobby.
read it to him. I could say it to him in intervention, you know, in help, and he would later thank me for, as he did, as he used to thank me all the time for saving his life.
Man. That was a powerful send off, honestly.
Faked blood and nose with nail. What? 5 days ago, but.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Thanks for 5 gift subs.
Oh, here's
Venturas.
about the flight
Thank you.
attendant.
Yeah, I'll do that one next. Just give me a sec.
Yeah.
Yeah, the court of public opinion's also not on her side. I have seen almost no one on Amber Heard's side. And I think the biggest reason is because of things like this. It seems delusional. It seems very forced, very fake. And she has yet to provide any actual evidence for any of her claims. So it's just really rough. It's crazy. Like, she is actually speaking as if she is auditioning for a role.
So then I'm going to jump to, and it's not much of a jump, to June 26, 2013.
She can't, it's a testimony, so starting... No, I mean in general. No, I mean like in general. I understand that this is just the opening statements or whatever. I'm saying in general, she hasn't provided any, like, evidence. And the evidence that she did provide, such as, like, I used this specific makeup palette to cover up bruises from Johnny Depp, was debunked by the actual makeup company who proved that that palette didn't exist when she said she was using it. It's like she doesn't have real evidence that I've seen. That's what I'm saying. Not just right now. Thanks to resub Binri, Hellhound, and Atoyo. I understand that comes later.
There was a plane ride to Russia with Johnny. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that particular event.
Well, that was the first and last time I ever decided it would be a decent idea to do drugs with Johnny.
When does this start tomorrow? So tomorrow is when she's in the cross-examination stage, apparently? When does that start? I want to watch it live.
I was gonna say it's. Oh. Is this happening in Orlando?
Oh, do you think they're selling tickets? Wait, that'd be nutty.
Oh, wait, no, but they also have New York City right here.
Oh,
So maybe not.
you got my hopes up.
I
It's
got
in
my own hopes up.
It's in Virginia.
9
Thanks for your subsec, Losi.
CST. So,
Okay, so 10 a.m.
yeah.
Maybe I'll get up early and stream it. Thanks to resub Insanity and the Bits Copy.
Wait,
that's what
Central
I'm most
1 or
interested
2?
in. It's 1.
1.
CST is 1 hour behind. Oh, she's still testifying, not cross-examination yet. I'll still probably tune in tomorrow. It's copyright? That can't be right. I watched XQC watch it earlier. Is it copyright?
I mean, I don't see how with this many people reposting it not being taken down immediately or anything.
Yeah, I didn't think it was, yeah. Can you actually copyright a court case? Like, I don't think Fox owns this court case. Is that how that works? Can you buy the rights to a court case? It's a public trial.
I don't think you should be able to.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Someone said Ludwig was also watching it.
Yeah, no, it's a fucking public court case. You can't, like, buy the rights to it, I don't think. That wouldn't make any sense. He's the Prime Che and the Resub Trot and Drunk. Oh, give me just 1 second, though. I want to take a tinkle. I'll be right back before watching this next part.
I got it. I am waking Kitty up for a second. He says, I tired. He's a sleepy boy. Coin flip kitty edition? What does that even mean? Oh, he wants to hide. He likes to cover his face while he sleeps. So. I know. I know, man. I've had him since Sunday middle of the day, but I brought him home at night because it was at work. Someone left a box of 3 kittens in front of my work, and then I fell in love with this little one. So, no pies. So, will Charlie let me keep him? I don't know. It's what we're working on. It was a box of 3 kittens, yeah. Do I work in public affairs? No, I'm a vet tech, so I work at a vet hospital. But he's a baby. He's about 3.5 weeks old. He's probably closer to the 4 week. He's about like 2/3 to half to 2/3 of the size that he should be right now. He should be a lot bigger, but he's just a little baby. He actually lost some weight in the first day and a half with me, so had to do some fluids. And he's been a food fiend today, so. Are his siblings doing okay? Yeah, they're doing great. He's the only one who's got any sort of struggle going on, so. He's on a mix of milk and wet food because the first day he ate the wet food. The second day he didn't want the wet food, he wanted milk. And then halfway through the second day, he wanted only a combination. So, he's on a mix.
Here's the Prime Delia and the Resub Flash. That's right. There's a Prime KGB.
I did MDMA with him
From
on
AJ.
the plane, which was as stupid as it may sound. I just had never, I was very against, obviously the cocaine had been a problem. I was very much
Maybe
against him
barely.
using cocaine. I was against the drinking, supportive of the sobriety, but I'm 26 maybe, ish.
He's a tier 1 educated, tier 1
I wanted,
duck, and tier 1
I had never
mango.
heard of anyone making MDMA like what I had done MDMA before. I thought it's a lovey drug. It's it's like a kind of, I never knew anyone to get violent on it. And, you know, I thought, well, this is a relatively contained environment.
These are resub aesthetics and
Maybe
tier
this will
1
be different.
maestro.
Maybe I can be a good cop and be part of the, you know, like I don't have to be the lesbian counselor all the time, as you would say. You know, I can maybe be the fun girlfriend. And I learned the hard
What?
way that that was not happening.
The lesbian camp counselor, as he would say. He used to call you that?
Well,
I
we
just don't believe that.
MDMA. I took a capsule. It's like a powder in a capsule. I took a
He's a tier 1
capsule,
maestro.
and
Give sub Venturas.
Johnny
sub
took
Dirk.
several. I didn't count, but
It's on base.
you know, it's very different when you see someone take one versus a handful of something.
He
but
did. It was on tape at one point in the
nothing
trial.
seemed to
Did he really?
set any alarm bells off.
What did he
and
do?
things
He
were
called her the
going fine
lesbian
until,
camp counselor.
Oh,
until the flight attendant got involved. The flight attendant came by,
As a joke, yeah.
was engaging with us.
what does that even mean?
I have no idea. I didn't know that one. Apparently it was to Paul Bettany. Also, to Paul Bettany is where he sent, like, the most, like, I guess bad thing he ever said or did, which was the Monty Python reference about drown her, kill her, whatever. So I'm guessing the Paul Bettany stuff was, like, her real smoking gun, I'm assuming, where most of the... bad ones were in the text messages there.
Still confusing.
There's the Prime Spider and the resub GTS and the Prime Cam Callow.
I don't think
ASD.
that they're really. It felt like it was before the effects of the drug.
For clarity,
took over.
she
It was
called herself
relatively
that, and that's
soon
where he
after
picked
we
it up
first
when
took
speaking to Bettany.
our dose, if you can say. And
So
the
she
flight
did that to herself.
attendant,
I don't know. That's what
Johnny
one guy in the
offered
chat
her
said. I
some.
don't
She
know.
of
I
course
didn't know
said
that
no,
part.
and then after some back and forth between them, Johnny convinced her that it would be fine. So she acquiesced and took MDMA with us. And within a few minutes go by, and the same thing happened that happened on the mushrooms at Hicksville.
He's a
with
tier 1 rack.
the woman Kelly Sue, who I've told you about. Flight attendant got friendly with me, but just friendly, just like MDMA friendly. Was kind of.
Again, you've only seen his portion of this. Tomorrow will most likely be all her testimony again, if not longer. Yeah, but that's not true, though. This went to trial in the UK not too long ago, a couple of years ago, right? So we've seen most of her side, her evidence, right? Unless she has a bunch of new ones that she was holding out on. And there wasn't, like, actual evidence. Unless there was ones that I missed. She did win that one. That is true. She won the UK trial. So it's mostly about the last witness. Who's the... Man, that sounds like the title to some kind of incredible, like, award-winning movie. The Last Witness. Who is it? The judge over there was literally Amber's friend. Yeah, there's a lot of controversy around that. I read about it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, apparently the judge was actually, like, somewhat familiar to Amber Heard.
At the last trial?
Yeah, it wasn't exactly, like, the most fair trial ever. At least not from everything I read. Thanks, Risa Bismuth. Thanks, the bits right. So who was the last witness then? Actors in court, that should be automatic perjury. Well, like they were friends, apparently. Allegedly, I guess. Heard in that UK judge or whatever. It's a little different than just knowing Johnny Depp's movies or Amber Heard's movies. Thanks to Resub Moon. But what is the witness thing about? Thanks to Resub Karina. Because you couldn't present anything in the UK? Yeah.
Why was the first one in the UK?
I think she wasn't, like, directly going after Depp there. It was going after the Sun or something. Man, I don't remember. I looked it up like a week and a half ago. I don't remember now.
What?
I'm pretty sure it was going after the Sun tabloid and not Depp. So Depp wasn't, like, presenting. Depp was suing the Sun. That was right? So it was the Sun? Okay, yeah, so it was suing the Sun.
Whose son?
That's the name of the tabloid.
Oh, okay. S-U-N. Got it.
But still nothing. Still don't know what that witness statement was. But all right, I'll just wait.
I'm a woman, he's a man, so she was naturally, I think, more comfortable with me physically. She kind of leaned into me and kind of sat on the arm of the chair I was sitting in. I mean, after all,
That's a very common trend for her and women she's around with Johnny.
Grabs her hand and tells her not to touch me, and she kind of reacts in a way like she's defending herself and was trying to clarify. And he grabbed her by the wrist and slammed it down on the table and told her he could break her wrist. And I remember thinking, I've heard this before.
We all have.
That was a pattern that would repeat itself a few times. These things would happen in these kind of cycles where there would be a certain element that would get filtered for a while, whether it's an accusation or a gesture, and that would be the thing that he looped on. I called it looped.
Here's a tier 1 son.
And he grabs her wrist and he tells her he could break her wrist. She cries instantly, denies it, is so apologetic.
This would be a great witness to bring, I would think.
Let's go. She goes to the front of the plane where the flight attendant, normally hangs out, and the doors close, and I don't see her much of that whole flight. We land in Russia, and I don't really remember, I don't recall any violence on the plane between Johnny and I, but I remember feeling this tension because I was wondering when it was going to aim at me, because he had this particular thing about, at the time I understood he had a particular thing, a sensitivity about me and women, because I had a female partner. So I was feeling nervous, anxious, and I remember we had a very quiet ride, at least I didn't say anything, to the hotel. And almost as soon as we get into the hotel room, Johnny's accusing me of effectively having engaged that, caused that. I, of course, deny it, point out what I thought was obvious, that, we'd given her drugs, it's wasn't an affair, wasn't, and I'm trying to argue and defend myself at the same time. And at one point, Johnny just shoves me, just shoves me.
Man, the face on the lawyer there says it all.
Glass table. I catch myself on the table. I don't know how.
He was trying to keep
some
himself
furniture
awake.
got knocked around. I'm trying to stand up for myself. I'm trying to stand up, literally.
You should fall
at
asleep.
this point, I don't even try to hit back or try to run. I'm in this hotel room trying to do my best to fight mostly the verbal accusations, but also I try to stay on my feet. At some point, Johnny whacks me in the face, and I don't remember feeling pain or awareness of my nose or anything. I don't remember thinking that. I remember crying and feeling. I went into the bathroom and I wanted him to have I just remember wanting him to realize what had happened. I wanted him to kind of snap out of it. I wanted him to care. I wanted him to realize what was going on, because a big part of this, I felt like he wasn't aware. There was this sense that he didn't know what was going on.
We should rock it.
Again, I don't know how much of the drugs or alcohol is a part of this, but I remember crying. I came out at some point because I don't hear him in that room. I remember we had been arguing in the main room, but I went out to the hallway, which is where I presume he walked out, and his bodyguard, Jerry Judge, was in the hall. And I don't recall seeing Johnny in the hallway, but I remember seeing Jerry Judge, who gestured to my nose.
Objection, hearsay.
She's just saying gesture. He hasn't said anything yet.
All right, gesture's fine. I'll overrule the objection. He gestures to my nose.
Probably not the best hearsay attempt there.
handkerchief, like a cloth handkerchief. And I
Yeah, she was a little quick on the
instantly
trigger.
just felt really embarrassed. I felt ashamed. I don't know how else to describe it. I just felt like just really embarrassing. And I went inside the room.
What, if any, injury did you have?
I had a little blood coming out of my nose. I didn't know it. I didn't feel it at the time
Thanks, you said
until
Panda.
Jerry gave me Jerry let me know.
Okay.
And I went inside the hotel room, and as embarrassing as it is, I remember just wanting Johny to say sorry. I wanted him to realize it. It's so stupid, but I like the emotional part. You know, I just wanted him to acknowledge that this was that he could hurt me, you know, and I wanted it to be okay. I didn't want him to think I was interested in this flight attendant. I didn't want him to think that I would capable of cheating on him. I was in love with him. I just wanted things to be okay.
Let's take you to July 9, 2013. Did there come a time that you went for a ride you went to the Bahamas and went on a ride the yacht with Johnny and his kids?
Well, it's less like we flew out to the Bahamas to his island.
Exhibits Giovanna.
He
has
was
an island in the
selling
Bahamas?
the yacht to J.K. Rowling.
Probably.
And he wanted to kind of have a goodbye trip on the yacht. So it was docked off the island, and I went with him and his kids, who I had quickly developed a bond with and loved. And we brought a friend along with us, I think, to kind of help. And yeah.
Okay. Tell the jury what happened on that trip.
Johnny was upset that he had to sell the boat, and he was off the wagon again, but he didn't want to tell his kids, so he was hiding it from them.
About not selling the boat?
Coffee cups and drinking, and the behavior just kind of like, he was upset, he was emotional, and he just, you know.
They ran into
how he
Davy
dealt with it,
Jones.
just drink, but there's just no off
What they
button
get from
for
his
Johnny.
locker.
So he just kept drinking, and the behavior kept getting more
Do you
obviously
feel
drunk. And
dead?
Lily Rose, his daughter at the time, was young, just like maybe 14. And she started to get panicky and started to ask me questions about his drinking.
Objection, hearsay.
She's a boy.
Without saying what Lily Rose was saying, please continue on.
Sustain the objection.
Thank you.
So she was asking me questions about the drinking, and was very upset.
Sustain the objection.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't say what Lily Rose said.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you can tell gestures,
Sorry.
you can tell, and you can say what you and Mr. Depp said, okay?
Sorry.
So Lily said,
She was upset, and Johnny we were with the kids, and he kind of threw himself off the boat in a half playful way, like a dead fish kind of way. I don't know how to describe it, almost like a belly flop. But we were on a skip, like a smaller boat parked next to the yacht, and he's jumping. Well, he jumped off the front of it, but kind of in a face, chest forward way, like it looked a little scary, like not something somebody would do if they're completely okay. You know, it was
What?
started off all of us kind of taking turns jumping off the edge of the yacht into the water, and then
Swimming, Charlie.
at one point kind of throws himself over, and it looked a little scary.
Also, it's just weather.
The way his body fell into the water, and Lily Rose started to cry and expressed to me that she
Objection,
was
hearsay.
upset.
As sustained.
You can't say what she said. You can tell expressions or observations.
I'm so confused. What the
You
fuck is
can't say
happening?
What Lily Rose said.
So
Okay.
Lily
they were all
Rose
jumping
is
into
crying,
the water, but he jumped in
and the crying
scarily.
becomes like a panic, like almost like a panic attack. Like rapid breathing, crying, lots
Why
of questions.
can't she say what Lily Rose said?
And I'm holding her, kind of comforting her,
hearsay.
and Johnny comes in.
But why? Like, why is that?
And
Well,
within
you're not allowed to do that.
Within a few seconds, I
Lily
realized
Rose
that
isn't here to
he,
talk about it.
you know, kind of shifted his attention on me, and then he seemed very angry. He asked Lily Rose to leave. Lily Rose leaves, looks at me, leaves, crying, and Johnny, I don't remember the words he used, but starts accusing me of kind of like telling on him and calling him, you know, a drunk in front of his kids. I hadn't done that. I was actually trying to protect Johnny. It didn't feel like my place at all to share that with his daughter or anyone at the time, other than adults who might help with it, but not his kids. So I was trying to tell him, I was just trying to comfort her. I was trying to protect you. He basically was accusing me of doing this thing and of making them aware of his that he was drinking again. And he slams me up against the side wall of the bedroom of the we were in the bedroom this whole time, but up against the wall of the cabin, and slams me up by my neck and holds me there for a second and tells me that he could fucking kill me. And that was an embarrassment. I was embarrassing. It was embarrassment. This whole thing was a joke. It was all embarrassment. I made him feel sick. And I'll never forget. I'm very, very, very much in love with this whole family now. And he's saying I'm embarrassing to him. And that somehow stuck in me more than the I could fucking kill you. It just sounded like hyperbole. It sounded like something he was just saying, but the names that he was calling me were kind of just pushing me up against the wall by my neck, you know.
What?
It hurt my feelings. It hurt. I don't know. When I communicated when I saw Lily Rose again, we get, I won't say what she told me, but the next thing we do is we call for a helicopter to come and take us off of the boat or off of the island.
This story is so fucking confusing. So they were jumping off of a yacht into the water, but on like a small skipper next to the yacht. So jumping off the smaller section into the water, and Johnny did it in a weird way, which upset Lily Rose. So Amber said that he's drunk and high or something, and then he grabbed her by the neck and slammed her into the cabin, saying that he could fucking kill. I don't understand.
I don't know if anybody does.
Thanks for the 5 gift subs, McTwistin. Appreciate it, man. And the resub spicy and biscuits. And the prime sugar. Oh, and the tier 1 Dark Souls. Sorry, I didn't see that till just now. And resub Willie.
So we leave the boat, go to the landing of a part of the island, or maybe it's a different island we had to get to leave, and we take off. I'm holding Lily Rose in literally holding her under my arm while she's crying, and we're lifting off. And Jack ended up not coming with us at the last minute. He stayed behind. And we were taking off, and I remember being really torn about leaving. I felt bad about leaving, even though that had happened. I still felt awful leaving. I felt awful leaving him. I also felt like I had done something wrong. You know, he was mad at me. I wasn't sure, what I had done, but I remember not being, I'm getting all these text messages from him calling me all these names, and it barely coherent, barely, and I'm holding his daughter
have those
crying.
For proof?
I guess we'll know
And
tomorrow.
let me just stop you for a moment. Michelle, can you pull up Defendant's Exhibit 180.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Thanks, Resub Noah,
It
Clutch,
is already
and
into evidence,
Stetch.
Your Honor, so if we may publish it to the jury.
Just imagine being on the jury for
Remember,
this.
I'm going to ask you to take a look at 180. And this is
What the
text
fuck is this?
messages from Mr. Depp to you.
Who the fuck is Steve?
Wait, why is his name Steve if this is Johnny?
Do you recall these?
Yes, I do.
And are these the text messages?
Yes, that's what he was sending me while I was taking care of his daughter.
So why is his name Steve?
Equine a bovine yerps.
Debovine yerps.
No, it's eat salad with your equine bovine yerps.
He's speaking the language of the gods.
You sicken me. Leave me fucking be. Officer Squarehead.
Thanks for the tunes.
It will begin to feel embarrassed for you. Go away, coach. Done. Hope.
So why is Johnny Depp's name Steve here?
Your Honor, I'm about to go into another event. Should I
Steve is his
keep going?
nickname?
I mean, that's fine if you think this is a good point
This
to
is
break for
probably-
the day.
I think it's probably good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and conclude for today. Again, do not read anything about this case, do not do any outside research, and don't discuss it with anybody.
Wow, that was a wild component here of the lore.
It's fun.
Wow, that was wild. Exit Tier 1 X Belial.
Yeah, I don't understand why his name is Steve.
It's a nickname from a movie they watched together. Among Us Pub's language. True.
His name is Steve in her phone in case it gets lost, just an alias. That could make sense, but
Yeah, that could make sense, I suppose. Hey, Brew. Thanks for the resub. Hup to you as well. Thanks for resub, Saram. What I find weird is that he signed off with JD at the end. That seems a little fishy.
it's Johnny Depp.
Well, I know, but that seems...
Your dad does the same thing in his text, CW.
No, he does not. Not to me, he doesn't. When has he ever signed off with CW? He'll usually just put like 19 different like ellipses. But that just seems like very manufactured. Not to get too conspiratorial on you. Yeah, there's...
No, I mean,
He does. He never signs off as CW. He does on like official texts. Hey, thanks for the 5 gift subs, Bunky, and the resub, Bunky. Thank you, man. And the big tier 3 Venturas. Thank you, man. I really appreciate the generosity.
I don't know. I mean, maybe he doesn't do it to you, but he does it to me.
No,
Right here. You get in heavy rain? CW.
well, yeah,
Like,
but
what?
that's to you, not me. He's making sure you know that it's him,
Why would I not know it's him?
just in case the number wasn't saved.
Well, I'm not. What?
That makes sense, but he doesn't send me CW. Thanks for the time, Luke, and there he's some Turbo and Froggy. Let me give some clutch.
I'm just saying, your dad does it. So.
Only to you and other people on official channels. Thanks to resub Farhan. Does that matter? No, it doesn't matter. I just find it weird that he'd sign his own
Just
text
an
with JD.
older-fashioned not knowing how to text. But to be fair, that was also how many years ago?
In 2013.
So.
He does it so you don't think you're receiving messages from yourself in the future. True. Thanks for the gift, Sub Furious. Thanks for the 5 gift subs, something witty.
But
Thank you
like,
for that.
that's something to just.
And the resub
This is a
grandma.
joy. That's literally your dad.
I know, that is actually how my dad texts. And thank you for the 10 gift subs, Farhan. Thank you for that, man. Like sometimes it feels like he's got like he's upset about something, but it's really just how he texts. Like he'll use commas sometimes too for just for the sake of
What is
it.
that?
Oh, it's just old art I made when I was a kid. They found it. But yeah, he's always using ellipses and all kind of shit. So, for example, he asked where we were on the trip when we were on our way back, and I said we're in I think Alabama. His response was K with 6 ellipses, and then said "love ya" with 2 exclamation
Wait, it was
points.
only 3.
Was it? No, it was more than 3. What are you talking about? This one up here. Oh, it's 5.
K space ...
Yeah. Thanks to the gift sub, wings and the resub, sweaty pee
But like, it's an older
in the prime Zach.
person text. Maybe that's just how he is. I'm just
Hey,
saying, like, I got back up on that for it being something people do.
And I think he texts great. Bovine Yerps. Yes, sir.
Okay, but to be fair though, you also call him dad, so you know, they call each other by names, so it would make more sense versus just like husband or wife,
I guess.
you know?
What's your take on the Depp Heard case so far? Oh, I think it's genuinely embarrassing for Heard and her entire team, and I think it's a bad look for anyone that has ever experienced domestic violence. Unless she has legitimate evidence to prove any of her claims, it is outrageous.
Oh, it could be his signature in his phone. Do you remember when you used to be able to have like a signature in your texts?
Oh, that's true. That's very true.
That used to
yeah.
be a huge thing.
That's actually probably what it was. Thanks, resub juice.
Whoever said that in chat, you might be right.
But it only shows up once. Yeah, get fucked. Good point.
Unless he turned it off for some. I remember when I used to have like a quote at the end of all my fucking texts to people.
No, I haven't tried Blood Hunt yet, but I do plan on trying it. Alright, let's see. Someone said that I should watch the question that Amber... Here, can you...
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. I didn't want to move him. Someone said I should watch the question Amber Heard's clown asked one of the witnesses or something. What am I looking for? Look up the penis question Amber's lawyer asks some guy. This is such a stupid... I was actually just about to search that.
Search it.
No, that on Twitch, absolutely not. Amber Heard lawyer penis?
Yes, that's literally gonna give you the whole fucking thing.
I'm not.
He's questioning everyone.
I'm not taking any chances.
You could literally put witness question, and that would get you a little bit better of a search.
Figured this would be the newest one. Is it this one? Accused of harassing Depp witness?
Mr. Wiggum, could you do me a favor and just count from 1 to 5 for me so I can get you on my big screens here?
Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This is not the one? Man, alright, hold on. Johny Depp trial penis question. Johny Depp lost it when witness mentioned him urinating and seeing his penis. Okay, here we'll do this one, I guess. Is there some sinister slime?
Someone said not
juice?
this one.
That was to the last one.
Here. What am I holding, a kitten?
And when you arrived at the house, you could hear a ruckus, correct?
Yes. Well, yes, I could hear. Yeah, I could hear. Definitely hear something.
Man, I wish they didn't have this song in the back.
But you said the door was so thick you couldn't hear the actual words that were being said. Is that right?
No, just a shouting.
And then you went in the house and saw Mr. Depp in the foyer, correct?
Yes, correct.
And Mr. Depp was trying to urinate in the foyer, wasn't he?
No.
Mr. Depp had his penis out of his
Objection.
pants, didn't he?
I think I would remember
Relevance.
seeing Mr. Depp penis.
Next question.
And you were trying to get Mr. Depp out of the house, correct?
Correct, I was trying to get Mr. Depp out of the house, yes.
And Mr. Depp was refusing to leave the house, was he not?
Was this their own witness that they called to the stand?
I think that's his witnesses.
No, because he's like leading the questions, like, and you were trying to get him out, right? Because
no, they
he was.
both question witnesses, regardless of which side they're from.
Oh, good point. Okay, yeah, so this might not have been a witness they called. This was Depp's witness. Okay, you're right. You're right. This was during the cross-exam. Gotcha.
Not so much refused, he just wanted 2 minutes to say his piece.
You took Mr. Depp's arm to try to move him out, but he broke away, isn't that right?
Yes.
I mean, so he was strong enough to break away from your grip, correct?
No.
So, you had his arm and he broke away, though, correct?
No.
Isn't that what you just said?
No, I let him go.
You let go. Yeah, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't
I'm not
easy.
going to drag him by it.
So Mr. Depp's your boss. You'll do what Mr. Depp wants, correct?
No.
It's not easy to get Mr. Depp out of the house, correct?
It's not easy.
Now, can we play Exhibit 380A, which is already in
Well, that didn't
evidence?
work.
Plaintiffs or defendants, I'm sorry.
It's defendants, Exhibit 380A.
What is this? Sorry, what is this?
And this is a recording from Australia, and it's just of Mr. Depp.
I don't think that's in evidence, Your Honor.
Hold on, it's not in evidence.
Our plaintiffs Exhibit 380A.
I don't believe there are any recordings from Australia in evidence, Your Honor.
I don't
think,
have
I think
anything in
this.
evidence.
They're definitely.
God, Jesus
of just
Christ.
Mr. Depp.
She's like,
I
why
don't have
did I choose these people?
380A.
You see, even her, like, annoyed by them.
Yeah.
I have, Jamie says it was ID'd, but never admitted.
It was never admitted. It was.
I think we've had enough of a week. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to go ahead and be done with the testimony for this week.
That has to be probably one of the most embarrassing lawyers ever. Is there another case with this level of attention where a lawyer blundered this hard? Everything he has done is an actual comedy routine. You see the lawyer who...
He called
yeah.
the witness the wrong name multiple times? Jesus.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Thanks to the bits, Tori. Still got paid, though. I mean, yeah, he's still got money.
Here. This is more of it.
Nah, that's fine. We got the gist of it.
I think I'd remember if I'd seen Johnny Depp's penis.
Yeah, I know he objected to himself.
O.J. Simpson's prosecutors? I don't know the
They were
trial,
just
so-
really bad lawyers. I don't think they made like a mockery of themselves, did they?
Only people she could get, no one wants to get their careers flattened by this case. That's fair, but at the same time, like, these people are just making fools of themselves.
Well, it's one guy, to be fair. Her main defense attorney.
Yeah, well, this guy's done. No one's gonna hire him again.
Yeah, but he's probably made enough money off the case. He'll be fine. That is a good point, actually. The glove. That actually went way beyond just that case. That became like an actual, like, cultural thing. Everyone knew that the glove didn't fit thing.
Hmm?
That's from the OJ trial. One of the lawyers, I believe it was the defense, said that it couldn't have been OJ because the glove doesn't fit. But they ended up winning, so they didn't really make clowns of themselves or anything. If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. Yeah.
This whole case is just so ridiculous. Like, I don't understand why she thinks that she would be able to potentially win this.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, she had to defend herself somehow.
Well, but the evidence against her is just
Well,
There's so much more against her than for her.
well, yeah, but you
If
have
there
to
even is much for her.
you have to try and mitigate the losses as much as possible. She shouldn't have skimped on the lawyers, though.
Yeah.
Did they Mighty Mouse? Again, I only know the glove part. Thanks to Prime Awesome Panda. The Rittenhouse lawyer was pretty cringe. I didn't watch anything from the trial, but I did see one of the lawyers say, "You played Call of Duty, right?" And he was trying to, like, I think he was trying to make, like, a profile of the guy as, like, Call of Duty made him a killer or something. I don't know. It was fucking awful, though. That's the only thing I saw from that entire thing. Thanks to Gift Sub Lake Shore. These are millionaires. They'll be fine no matter the outcome. Yeah, I'm sure they'll be fine. I think Amber Heard, though, is going to suffer greatly from this, even beyond the financial aspect. Like, in Aquaman 2, her role has already been reduced to 10 minutes of screen time. And I imagine it's going to be really hard for any studio to justify getting Amber Heard on staff when it's this incendiary.
It sucks that they've already filmed it, though. Because,
Yeah.
like, if they hadn't, they'd probably just replace her like they did with
Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Thanks to Tier 1 Biscuits
And honestly,
and the Prime Ice
I
Bear.
swear if all of the companies that shit on Depp and cut him out of things and killed deals don't apologize to him after all of this or try to get him back.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I know,
That's
but,
delusional.
like,
That's not going to happen.
But come on, like, he clearly, they were all in the wrong.
Yeah, but
So.
there's never been a case of anything like that. And it never will be. Disney is never going to say sorry, for one.
I don't know, they might.
Yeah, we can... is there anything else from the trial that I haven't seen? Or am I all caught up? Exhibits Mighty Mouse. The resub Joe Schmo. Did you see the muffin story? No, let me see. Amber Heard's lawyer asked psychologist hired by Johnny Depp about muffins. Man, that sounds like it really bore fruit. I'm sure that was a really good line of questioning.
And your answer under oath at that time was?
No.
I've not, right?
Sorry, I
isn't
hadn't
what
found
you
the
said?
page in time.
Okay. You said, no, I've not.
But I have
correct?
not.
Okay. Now, you also have never been asked to testify on whether an individual is being truthful in saying that they are a survivor of IPV. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And you have never qualified as an expert to speak to whether a person suffered from IPV, intimate partner violence, or was a victim or survivor of IPV. Is that correct?
That's outside the task of a psychologist to determine whether an event occurred. We assess behavior, we assess mental status, we don't detect crimes.
So you have not been asked to testify to that, correct?
It's not something that occurs, so no, I have not.
And you were not ultimately asked to provide any opinions on that, correct?
No, I was not.
She seems so well spoken.
Now,
Wow.
you did not
This is, like,
disclose
highly
in
intelligent.
any of the designations or your
I started
report
another video.
that you had met with and had dinner and drinks with Mr. Depp, did you?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Yes,
That
you did
confused
not
me.
disclose in any of the designations or in your report that you had dinner and drinks with Mr. Depp, correct?
I did not disclose that I was interviewed by the legal team, no.
I asked a different question. Are you trying to resist that you didn't have dinner with Mr. Depp and drinks?
I'm not trying to resist that, but it's not quite right.
You
What
did
you're
have dinner with
stating.
Mr. Depp, did you not?
I did, with
And
his
you had
legal
drinks
team
with
and
Mr. Depp, did you not?
These are 5
And
gift
what?
subs consent.
You had drinks with
Appreciate
Mr.
it.
Depp, did you
The
not?
resub Wi-Fi.
Drinks were served. This was over 2 years ago.
True
I may
cookie.
have had a drink with dinner, yes,
In fact, you thought you had a mule something, right?
possibly.
Yes, okay. And you didn't disclose that you had met with Mr. Depp, Mr. Waldman, Mr. Chu, and Ms. Vasquez at Mr. Depp's house for 3 to 4 hours, and had dinner and drinks, correct?
I did not disclose that. It's not significant to the report.
You don't think that's significant, correct?
I don't.
Okay. But you've never been asked to meet with a client in his counsel before being retained as an expert, either before or after, have you?
No.
And you justified that it was
Tim
okay
Gibson's
in
getting
this
consent.
case
Thank you.
because it was a high-profile case.
Appreciate the generosity.
That's not quite right. I justified it in this case. Actually, I sought consultation about it. First of all, the person who had retained his attorneys was unable to come to my office with his attorneys. And yes, this is a very visible case. It's been going on a very long time. And I understood that there would be a need to interview me and make an informed decision about my qualifications.
Oh, damn, she's got stunned.
Just going through so many different.
Can you look at page 2?
So what about muffins?
Please.
She needs a mega pie.
Line 3 is my question. Would you agree
hear that
it's
one?
highly
What?
irregular to meet with the subject
Her
in the litigation?
Lawyer
And
previously
your answer on
said
that
about
occasion
John Depp.
was, I
It's
would
like,
not
and you
say
had
it's
a
highly
mega
irregular.
pint
I would
of
say it's not
True.
something that I would typically do. However, I had not yet been retained on the case. This was a large, high-profile case, and I understood that I believed that it was appropriate for a person retaining me with such a high profile to meet me, to be able to vet me, essentially with the attorneys present prior to retaining me on his case. Do you recall that?
Yes.
That's what you said under oath, correct?
Yes.
And then I said, have you ever done that before? And you said, no. Correct?
Correct.
And then I said, have you ever done it since? And you said, no. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, would you agree that if you did not find something that would be in favor of Mr. Depp and negative to Ms. Heard, that you wouldn't be an expert in this case? That I can bring you into court if you're going to say that Ms. Heard is right and Mr. Depp is wrong, correct?
So as a forensic psychologist, my obligation is to the court, is to the fact finder. I present science regardless of what that science may be. Now, when I take a case, my retainer agreement is explicit about that, and I discuss that with the attorneys.
I'm asking you a question. I'd like you to try to answer my
Okay.
question.
What was
You
it? I'm
understand
confused on
that
the question
if you found
myself.
favorably to Ms. Heard and negatively to Mr. Depp, you wouldn't be here, right? You wouldn't be testifying.
She's asking.
Okay, sorry.
I get it now. I get it
Okay.
now.
That's not speculation.
That is speculation.
Objection, if you want to ask.
Okay. If,
That is textbook What do you mean that's not speculation? What? Aren't you a lawyer? That is like actual textbook speculation. If you found something favorable for Heard and bad for Johnny Depp, you wouldn't be here. Based on what? That you're speculating. Like, that is literal
I
textbook
think it was
speculation.
more of a you wouldn't be here supporting Depp.
Yeah, well, yeah, you wouldn't be here
But even
because they
still,
called.
like, honestly, I feel like it's not even speculation. It's truth. Why would she be supporting Depp if she found that?
Well, no, it's she's speculating that. What she's trying to say is that she is favorable to Depp no matter what, so she would overlook things that make him look bad. That's the point I think she's trying to get at, but she's doing a terrible job at it.
it goes to bias, Your Honor.
I sustain the objection. Next question.
Okay, all right.
Is there some snore helicity,
You were,
koozie,
in
and the
fact,
5
so
subs
excited
paleo?
about
Thank you,
being
paleo.
involved in this case that you told your husband, even though this was a highly confidential matter, that you were going to be conducting the examination of Ms. Heard, didn't you?
That is not accurate.
You not only told your husband, but you told Ms. Heard that you told your husband, correct?
Ms. Bredehoff, that is not accurate.
What is accurate?
You're incorrect. That is not correct.
Is your testimony today on the oath that you did not tell your husband that you were going to be conducting the examination of Amber?
That is my testimony.
Okay.
Man, she's getting dunked. Holy Lord. Oh my God.
I feel like all her questions revolved around that one specific thing, so now that it was incorrect, she just keeps trying.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
Let's go to page 306.
All right, what's on 306, baby? Let's go. Where's the muffins
So the
at?
question that was asked was
Well-
because you brought muffins, you said from your husband, right? You gave those to Miss Heard, correct?
May I clarify what occurred so that we can stop talking about the muffins? What happened was that I was getting ready that morning. I frequently bring muffins to the office. My husband did happen to know that there was going to be a celebrity client coming in because on the mornings that occurs, which often occurs, we have to actually clear the office and move the staff to the other office. So yes, on the one hand, he was aware of that. I was getting ready. I asked him to go to the bakery near our house and pick up the muffins for me because I was running late. He often has to do that because I often do run late. He brought the muffins back to the house. I brought them into the office. Ms. Heard and I enjoyed the muffins together. I think I made a comment to her along the lines like, we can thank my husband. My husband got these for us today, meaning he purchased the muffins. We are now enjoying them because of him.
Did you say?
So
on
you're
page
guilty then, and you're going to jail.
306 that you frequently have examinations of high-profile clients? You want to just take
She
a quick look and tell us?
just said
What
often
305,
has
306?
celebrities.
Yeah, that's where we're talking about it.
Is there a line you'd like me to look at?
You can start with 15, line 15, 305. Just read through that and tell me whether you said anywhere in there that you have a lot of high-profile examinations. You do this frequently. I don't agree.
Won't you approach, please?
Damn. The muffins. They'll get you every fucking time.
She literally just said, I know it's not in the report,
Things where you said butthole and Mista.
but she
Cowboy.
just said that it happens often that they have high profile clients, so they have to move their staff.
Yeah, but since it's not in the report, it's illegal. And she's going to jail. Things where you said feel bad, crunchy in the prime elbow and Avela. The bits jiggy. What was the objection? I have no idea. His mic wasn't on.
I think it was that it wasn't relevant that it was in there or not.
Probably. Things of tier 1 stinking. Things of resub koi toy.
Why did your husband get the muffins for Amber Heard?
He did not get the muffins for Amber Heard.
He knew you had a high-profile client, and you were preparing
She
for a very long
asked
time.
him.
And you asked him to pick up the muffins, correct?
I asked him to pick up the muffins for me, yes.
She answered her own fucking question.
Now, would you agree that domestic abuse can be verbal?
From muffins right into the hard heavy hitters, eh?
She literally just answered her own fucking question there.
I am curious. I'll watch this on my own time. What do the YouTube lawyers think of the clowns that Heard has hired? I
You
know.
should ask Matt's dad.
Oh, that'd be fun. Actually, I'm gonna text Matt. That'd be really good.
Oh, you guys could do something with that.
That would actually be a really good idea. I'm gonna text Matt right now.
I know. I see. What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow we make the big Moist Esports announcement.
Oh. I was like, you forgetting the movie? Did you plan something?
That's a good idea.
You're welcome.
Thanks to resub. Adrenalite and the gift sub Atlanta. Every single one of them I've seen laughs at them and calls them idiots. Yeah, I can't imagine there's anyone that thinks they're doing a good job. Like, I actually just can't. I know that... I already forgot who it was. We have a law student here that's a regular that likes to talk about what's going on right now, like, in his courses. And apparently they're watching this and laughing at it at the end of like, their course or whatever.
Just the end of the day of class,
Yeah.
just pop it on. Like, and this is what you don't do.